It's time for us to attack the Westerlands again. Obviously, we have struck quite a mighty blow against them already by taking King's Landing itself. If you missed that episode, I'd highly recommend checking it out. It's pretty epic, but it's also kind of simple, which is a little bit surprising. But anyway, basically what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to do a little bit of caretaking. We're going to try and eliminate as many Westerlands vassals that we can get our hands on. And we are also, hopefully, going to be able to take as many fiefs as I can without running out of too many units. Because obviously, we've shown in the past, in the couple of episodes that we've been fighting primarily Westerlands forces, that their longbowmen, thank you very much, thank you very much, Felton, you're proving my point right here, their longbowmen are kind of deadly, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because you wouldn't expect to see these guys be as dangerous as they are. Whoa. Well, there you go. Got myself absolutely murdered, but there you go. Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of why in a previous episode I said, yes, Elias, he's kind of powerful, and he can do a lot of damage, but he dies really fast to longbowmen, as you can see right there. That was, I mean, I don't think it was surprising, but I feel like it was quite surprising for me to take 71 damage. That is just insane. Like, how much HP do I actually have total? I think I've got like 74 or something like that, or 75, I don't know. But I have a very significant amount of HP total, and to have such an insane amount of damage coming in from all directions, basically, because these longbowmen, they are tough, and you can see how much damage they're dealing right here. Look at that, look at this. It is just insane. We've actually not even gotten... We are just losing people to, you know, I don't even know what to say. That's literally how shocked I am at how powerful the Westerlands longbowmen actually are. Because just think about this for a second. These guys, they surely cannot be as good as the Targaryen longbowmen, because the Targaryen longbowmen have 10 in power draw. And I don't think I've ever... Oops, okay, that was a big oops on my part, wasn't it? Anyway, point is that I don't think I've ever taken a look at the Westerlands longbowmen, and that is a big problem, because I probably should have done that to make sure that I know exactly what I'm dealing with. But, well, I suppose it doesn't matter too much. What I'm probably going to do after this, considering I've lost so many really good units, is I'm probably going to head back to the Weeping Town or Crow's Nest, which is a pretty significant way away, but the Dragonstone have placed in a whole bunch of really good units in the garrison at King's Landing, so I am not really needed to defend this particular fief. So I should be able to take a little bit of a respite, go back to, you know, Crow's Nest or whatever, and get a patrol. I want to get a patrol of the bestest units that you could ever hope to imagine, and then I'm going to get all those guys out of the garrison and see if I can incorporate them into my party. That's basically where I was able to get a huge amount of household guards in the past, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to use that method again to be able to get a whole bunch of, well, household guards. The ones that I've obviously lost. I've lost a whole bunch of them. I'm actually going to try and see if I can maybe jump up here. Oh, okay. Apparently it's a little bit more difficult now than I anticipated, and I'm now dead. Okay, so are we... Wait a minute. Are we all dead? Did we literally all die right there? Look at that. There's only 29 of them remaining. Why? Why? Okay, well, yes, that was actually going to be an absolutely devastating loss on my part, and I would not have expected it. By any means. I would not have expected it. Anyway, it appears as though King's Landing is now going to be given to someone else. I actually would have appreciated it if he had given it to me, but obviously he's been very generous in the past. And I know that I think some people want me to renounce our oath and create our own faction at this point, with King's Landing as our main base, basically. But here's the problem with that. If I decide to do that right now, I'm probably going to lose everything, because I have 80 units. I mean, I would have had about 170 before I did that particular battle. Maybe 170? I'm actually unsure how much party capacity I actually have. But anyway, the point is that if I were to do that now, I would be in a really sorely, badly disappointing situation. So I'm actually going to just accept the decision here because I personally would like to see what happens with us being a vassal of Dragonstone and see what Dragonstone decides to do as we go forward. I've got to be a bit careful here actually, because this guy is probably going to want to attack me because I have literally only 25 units available for battle, which is not going to be very good. Oh yeah, I should probably also mention that Dragonstone has been doing some pretty amazing stuff. Oh, never mind. They actually took Ashford. Dragonstone actually took Ashford, but they apparently now took it, well, Dawn took it back. But look at this, there you go. They've taken a vassal of Dawn prisoner. There seems to be a huge Kingswood outlaw band here with 250 members and 330 prisoners, which would be absolutely fantastic for me. Okay, so we have a maximum company size of 197. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to do something about that. I'm having problems with my companions as well. My companions are not very happy with the current state of affairs, and as a result they are, well, being kind of annoying and complaining all the time, and I'm having to spend a lot of money to, well, get them to stay with me. And luckily I did sell quite a bit of money. Well, sell quite a bit of money. Oh, are you serious? No. I did not sell quite a bit of money. I hope that gave some of you a laugh, because it definitely made me laugh. Embarrassing. Anyway, point is, I sold a whole bunch of loot. Actually pretty good loot as well, and that gave me decent enough money to be able to continue to pay my wages and things like that, and obviously to try and persuade these companions to not leave, and they are being kind of annoying about that. Anyway, let's go into the Lord's Hall here, see if I can speak to my guy, you know, I think it's the Castellan that does that, or is it the Constable? I don't know. The Chancellor maybe? Let's have a look. No, it's going to be the Castellan. There we go. Okay, so let's do patrols. I want to enlist a patrol, a one with the best troops around, and we'll send it to Crow's Nest. There we go. Yes, that is exactly what we want to see. All right, so that is good. So now, what we can do... What? Only 13? Why is there only 13 of them? Okay, well, reinforce the garrison at Crow's Nest, I guess. But why is there only 13 of those guys? Oh, that was disappointing, wasn't it? I should probably do it from a town. What do you say? I think a town is probably going to make the most sense, because it is much larger, and it will probably be able to field a much bigger patrol. So let's see if I can do that from here. Wait, 6 days? Now I'm disappointed. Oh well. Well, this is a rather interesting development. I actually would have preferred this not to happen right now, but apparently this is happening anyway, whether I like it or not. Anyway, so these guys are declaring peace with each other, and I'm pretty happy about it, with the obvious exception that Dawn has control of Ashford. Although, now that it is peacetime, I'm actually pretty happy with it, because it means that my dye works can now start paying out again, and that is obviously going to make a big difference to our coffers, and I'm very pleased about that. But yeah, we're not going to be fighting Dawn any further, and I'm actually, you know what, I'm actually just going to show you the map right now, so that you can actually see what's happening. So, as you can see, Dragonstone has been doing a lot of stuff around here. And I have no idea what's going on, obviously, because I am all the way down here in the Weeping Town. But I do know that they have taken a couple of Dornish vassals prisoner, but obviously that really has nothing to... Whoa! Okay. They have apparently taken these things too, but I think they did that a while ago, because I haven't seen any movement with these things whatsoever. I've more seen that Silver Hall has... There it is. That is under siege. So yeah, this particular fief has changed hands like, what, 10 times now? I have no idea. But there's a whole bunch of things happening. And this one was oh, that's under siege as well? Okay. Weird. This is not. That's not. Okay. Is that... Oh, that's also under siege. Okay, so apparently they're just like... I don't even know what they're doing. But whatever the case, it is going to be very interesting to see what happens now that Dawn is just kind of chilling. You know, they're just kind of chilling. I mean, they've taken Ashford, but that's basically it. And I mean, obviously we've taken, I guess that's the reason why they wanted to make peace, because we have taken a couple of things down here. I have not done anything to do that whatsoever. I have literally just left them alone, because obviously I did initially take these. I took this, and I think I took Starfall as well. I did not take, what is this? I did not take Hell Holt, and I don't think I took Ironwood either, so they must have done that themselves. And then I assume that those things here, you know, Weil and Starfall, and I didn't take Skyreach, did I? I'm not entirely sure, but they must have had very small garrisons, so that's why the Dragonstone vassals decided, hey, you know, okay, we should probably go and take that, you know. And it seems like they've, the Dawn have obviously taken back these things over here as well, so that's not great. But it seems like we have eaten in a little bit to the Westerlands territory, but you know what I want to do? I want to go and I want to take Lannisport, if at all possible. I'm not entirely sure if we're even going to be able to do that, but it would be a mighty blow. It would be an absolutely mighty blow. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the castle right here after, you know, having taken a look at the map. And we're going to go to the Castellan, because I believe that he will allow us to... Never mind, another 2 days. Alright, so I travelled all the way over to Lannisport because I thought to myself, oh yes, I think it would be a rather good strategic move to take that from the Westerlands. But as it stands, no, not so much. 114 hours to build a siege tower. I think that that's absolutely ludicrous. I think that that is an absolutely preposterous amount of time to wait, and I am not going to do that. I am certainly not going to do that. What about Casterly Rock? Can we take that? Well, it's going to take 28 hours, so we could obviously take that and maybe draw some of the Westlands vassals out. I think that would be a pretty nice idea, but who knows? Maybe we'll have a bit of a problem. We'll see. But I have basically outfitted my army with a whole bunch of archers. I'm actually starting to incorporate archers into our, shall we say, into our composition, because I want to make sure that we have an answer for these Westerlands Longbowmen, because they are just so effective. And this guy, wow. So many companions are complaining now, like almost all the time, that they want to leave, so I'm going to have to pay them every single time that happens. And that is kind of harsh, because I don't have, I mean, I have a lot of money in the treasury, but I don't have that much money on me at the moment. I have got about 50-something thousand in the treasury, so that is perfectly fine, but obviously that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Like, if I were to have, I don't know, maybe 250,000, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. I don't have to worry about money ever again, basically. Well, with the exception of maybe, you know, a little bit, you know, if I were to maybe not have any income for a very, very long time indeed, then obviously that would pose a bit of a problem. But to have that, you know, to have that good amount of cash in my coffers and in my reserves, that would make a big difference. But as it stands, it's only 50,000. That can go extremely quickly because my wages are at about 8,000, 9,000 now. And as you can see, it doesn't seem to matter whether I have archers or not. The Westerlands Longbowmen are able to absolutely slaughter us in every way. And well, I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing right here, because I came all this way wanting to, you know, attack Lannisport, and that just didn't happen. That's just an impossibility. 114 hours, and there are 100 longbowmen in there. They are literally stacked with longbowmen, and yeah, standing up there is obviously not a good idea either. I think, you know what? I think I might actually just retreat. Well, luckily it seems like we are now in a field battle. Yeah, the previous siege did not work out too well. However, now I am just hunting down Westerlands vassals. That's basically all I can do right now. Because if we can actually eliminate most of their vassals, maybe take them prisoner, maybe force them to recuperate their forces, you know, do something along those lines, then eventually Dragonstone will gain the upper hand, because if we do that, then obviously the Westerlands will not be able to fight back. They won't be able to, you know, take the things that we end up taking so easily. They, you know, they might be able to take them relatively simply, but most of the time they won't have a very easy time of things. So that is exactly what we want to do. We want to try and win through a war of attrition, because let's face it, I think, are they as big as we are? I think they might be relatively large. I mean, obviously we know that they're very large indeed, because they do have the north sort of strongholds and things like that to assist them with their size. But I'm not entirely sure actually, because obviously we have taken over the Stormlands, we've taken over the Reach, and we were about to, you know, continue taking over the Dornish, but obviously the Dornish were pretty harsh and kind of difficult to deal with. So I'm basically just going to concentrate on dealing with Westerland's vassals, and we'll see what happens with them. But I'm not entirely sure where to go from here, really, because obviously the Westerlands are going to continue to be, well, kind of annoying, to be honest, because obviously they're going to continue taking the fiefs that we take from them, and so on and so forth. So if I want to, then basically what I have to do is just wait, you know, just wait at these places, wait until a suitable enough garrison is placed in there. Unfortunately, the main issue with that is that most of the time the AI is not going to place a good garrison in a castle or even a town, really. The only one that I've actually seen them do a pretty decent job at, you know, actually garrisoning it, is King's Landing, because that has about 150 units there now. But I think that that primarily is an automated system of some kind. I do not believe that the AI is doing that intentionally. I think it is literally just an automated thing, because none of the other places have had that function. So I assume it is literally just because it is King's Landing and they're making a big deal out of it by making sure that it has a decent enough garrison. Anyway, that was a very small battle. This guy, basically just a small skirmish. Hopefully I will be able to take him prisoner. If not, then that's okay. I guess it's kind of okay. I'm a bit disappointed by that, but he's not really a big fish in a small pond. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fine for me to go around and tackle a couple of those guys. Maybe I'll even find a keep or two that are ripe for the taking, so to speak. Now it just so happens that the commoners are offering me 2,200 coins for King Aegon Targaryen. Don't think I really want to give them that guy for such a small amount of money. We have returned to, I believe, one of our first ever fiefs, if not the first. I think it is actually the first fief that we ever took, which was Harrenhal. Yes, we are actually here again. It is cursed, and we are going to be taking it, hopefully, once more. And there's actually a good reason for that. There's a very good reason for that, because it feels to me like Dragonstone is a pretty strong presence in this area right now, and as a result there are not too many Westerlands vassals. There's only 220 units in the garrison here, and I think we should have a pretty strong chance of taking this. I remember the episode where I jumped down to try and defend Harrenhal against an overwhelming something or other, maybe the Reach or something like that, and I basically just backpedaled all the way down here, all the way around with my two-handed warhammer, trying to fight them off basically, and leaving a trail of bodies in my wake. That was actually extremely funny, because obviously they just couldn't catch up to Elias because he has such a decent amount of athletic skill. So yeah, I remember that. I remember this this layout from there. Maybe it was actually a different place, but it just shared the same layout, but I'm pretty sure it was the same place. But anyway, oh yeah, I should actually mention that the patrol, I tried to get another patrol, and it didn't give me anything good. It basically just gave me elite archers, elite men-at-arms, and some mounted sergeants, and that's basically it. It did not give me any household guards, which I was a bit disappointed by, to be honest, because the last time that I did a patrol, I actually gained, I think it was like 20 or 25 household guards, and I was absolutely gobsmacked by that, because I thought to myself, wow, they're actually going to give me that many for a regular patrol? And yeah, so I was pretty impressed by that, but apparently that does not happen anymore for some reason. Maybe it's random. Probably is a little bit randomized here or there, but yeah, this is pretty nostalgic for me, so I'm pretty happy for us to be taking this back. And this could actually be a little bit of a focal point as well, because obviously if the enemy is not willing or even able to attack King's Landing, then maybe they will be willing to attack Harren Hall, because obviously Harren Hall is a little bit less important. I mean, oh yeah, I say a little bit less important. I think I should say much less important than the Iron Throne itself. Thank you very much. But anyway, the point is that it is definitely one of those things that people are going to think, oh, this is a very easy thing to take, and maybe we'll lure a couple of people over here to try and get them to take it, and so then as a result we can thin out their numbers even further. So I'm basically using this as a bit of bait, and we'll see if we can maybe profit from that bait relatively nicely. But if not, it doesn't really matter, because we're getting a good amount of experience for myself and our companions, and of course many of the forces that I currently have under my control right now are still leveling up. They're still capable of leveling up, so obviously that's also going to be pretty helpful. Unfortunately, the household guards population that I have in my army nowadays is abysmal. It's really, really awful. Remember when I used to have 40, 45 household guards? Yeah, no longer. I have about 18 in the army now, and that's what happens if you make bad strategic or bad tactical decisions. Then that's just what's going to happen. But obviously, if I had gone into Lannisport, I think I probably would have had a pretty similar effect, where we just literally would not have been able to do that much, because let's face it, waiting 114 hours to build that siege tower, yeah, I'd definitely do it if it was the final fief to take, or one of the final fiefs, but there are so many different places for me to take first that I think it's out of the question to wait that long. It is really just crazy. In my opinion, I say in my opinion because obviously it is just an opinion, but I would say in my opinion that definitely needs to be changed in future versions, and I don't know, it's just going to improve the usability, basically. Improve the usability, make it a little bit less frustrating for the player. And I mean, it's not even, that's the thing, it's not even really a difficulty. Do you know what I mean? It's not a difficulty to actually create that siege tower. It's just artificially bad, you know, like it's artificially long and difficult to do that. It's artificially difficult. It's not actually difficult. So, you know, it just ends up with me waiting that amount of time, which I am obviously not a fan of. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not going to be really wanting to wait 114 hours to build a siege tower. I mean, if you have, let's say you have an engineer that has 10 in engineering. I've got 6, right? I think I've got an engineer with 6 engineering. And you'd expect that guy to be able to, you know, make a siege tower in like, I don't know, 50 hours or so. Maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 40 hours. But obviously the mod creator has changed the siege mechanics in terms of how long, you know, these things take, because the siege ladders, they take 28 days. 28 days. 28 hours. 28 days later, yes. Anyway, they take 28 hours rather than the sort of more standard about 10, 12 hours. So they're basically double the amount of time that they would usually take. And that siege tower at Lannisport is 114 hours, when usually a siege tower would take maybe 48, 50, maybe 60 at a push if you don't have any engineering skill. But it takes 114, and I have 6 engineering. So it's a big deal. And that's the thing. Even if I were to wait that amount of days, it actually would not make any difference to my success rate. You know, because if I'm going to get in there in 50 hours, or if I'm going to get in there in 500 hours, it won't make any difference to how effective and how easy it is for me to win or even lose the day, because basically what's going to affect that is the actual garrison rather than the duration of how long it takes to build. I understand that maybe what the mod creator is trying to do is trying to make it so that someone with a smaller army perhaps will get attacked by various Westerlands vassals here and there, and maybe that would make it more difficult as a result, because obviously if you're going to take 114 hours, you're probably going to get attacked from all angles. But as it stands right now, most of the Westerlands vassals for me in my game, they're not that, you know, they're not that difficult. They're actually, well, they actually have less than 75 units, most of them. And there's only one of them that I've actually seen that has more, and they have about 140. And I would be able to deal with 140 units, no problem at all. Tywin, on the other hand, if Tywin were to appear and be like, oh, surprise, I have 400 units, then that might be a bit of a difficulty. But as it stands right now, none of the Westerlands vassals really pose too much of a threat unless they're running around all together. So anyway, to sum up my TED Talk, it is not a good idea, in my opinion, to have such a lengthy duration on that siege, because 60 hours is going to be just as good to, you know, pose that kind of artificial vulnerability to the player's army. So it's not really necessary, in my opinion. But anyway, we're going to ask no rewards. And there, oh wow, we've actually leveled up to 41. Wow, that is crazy. I think Elias is probably one of my highest level characters that I've had in Warband. And I think Iceni was one of the highest levels, but that was well, it really depends on what version you're watching, what series you're watching. But I think she got really high level, but I think I kind of enhanced her a little bit in a kind of RP way back. And who else has got to level 41? I think the original Barney probably got to level 41, probably somewhere around there. I can't really think of anyone else. Most people of mine, most characters of mine get to about 35, 36, and maybe around there. Anyway, that will be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.